Got some different faces here tonight as we're kicking off Second Chance Survivor Wisconsin Season 9. We're doing a little draft of the cast tonight. Us four and three others that couldn't join us tonight are going to break down a draft we did offline. We did this before the season was filmed and everything. This will air, obviously, after we film for all the viewers out there. So us four, and then we had Nolan, Christian, and Stive draft, and everybody got 2 picks. We did a snake order, random order 1 through 7, and then on the way back it was opposite. So who was ever 7th picked then first in the second round. So yeah, we're gonna talk on behalf of the other 3 that can't join us tonight. Talk about our picks. Talk about what we think is gonna happen as we're filming this about a week before we film the actual season. So. You guys got anything to add, or should we get into it?
I think we should get right into it.
We are. I think we should let them know we are keeping score, and so
tell them how the scoring works.
Yeah, so we are looking for the lowest possible score. You get the amount of points that person goes out at the position they go out in. So say Dan goes out in 14th, like we all expect. Then whoever drafted Dan gets 14 points, and that's bad. And so it goes all the way down 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. But then once you get to first place, you get -1 instead of 1 to give you a little incentive. And so scoring could range 27 if you pick 14th and 13th, all the way down to 1 total point if you get the second and the first player. And then we will have a prize for ourselves, undetermined. I believe, though, it is it's an alliance with Richie in Heroes versus Villains, is what I've heard.
I'd like
we'll see what that means.
Prize.
So the order that we did random, it was Nolan, then Alex, then Stive, then Jimmy, then Richie, then myself, and then Christian. And then on the way back in the second round, it's reversed. So Nolan obviously isn't able to join us tonight, so he had the first pick. And Nolan, with the 1.01, picked Kira out of everybody for this cast. His little statement on picking her, he said he feels really good about her chances. She's well insulated between season 7 and 8. Feel like she can tame her personality better than others on this cast was a big point for him, and that will kind of benefit her play. So if you guys want to jump in, kind of what your thought of her going one was.
I'd like to go first. So personally, I do think Kira is an MVP pick for this season. In the reaction live stream we did, which if people have not watched that and are watching this, like go watch that as well. Watch all of her past seasons. Kira flat out is someone who I definitely think is an MVP pick. You know, everything Nolan said is true about her. However, I do think that is going to be what makes her a massive target. People know how good of a player she is. They know how smart she is, and they know how far she'll go to get to the end and what she'll do. Like, she's not going to just sit there and let stuff pass her by. And I definitely think I can see Kira going deep, but I don't know if I could see her going to the end. I really do hope Kira goes far because she's a very entertaining player. And if she wins, it proves me wrong. Great. Prove me wrong because I think she does have the capabilities to win. But with this cast, I don't know how it's going to go because I really do see them seeing her as a big target possibly within this case scenario. So maybe she'll prove me wrong. I don't know. So
yeah, I'll go next. So I feel like, she was my first pick as well. If I had the first pick, she is putting herself in a great position going into the season. She played a really, really good game back in on New Blood, and she really didn't make any enemies at all, really either. So like her coming into this, her second chance here, like she still has a lot of room to play around with a new cast like this, where she has people who she's played with and has people who she has not played with. So like going into it, she really does have a good kind of base to work with. So I would love to see her go far as well and win. And yeah, like again, just she's coming in with a really great kind of like foundation to kind of build her own alliance, like kind of forge her way to the end.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. I just I hear what you're saying, Richie, and that's actually why I was a little hesitant, but she was actually also my 101, which means congrats, Kara. We completely cursed you But I do think she and another person we'll actually get to next were fairly consensus top of the board for a lot of us. And I think what we're looking at is Kira, I think, can both work with people who are not coming in with enormous threats, but she also has shown that she can work with big threats. I mean, she played an idol for Ben, for God's sake. Like, who does that? Particularly for Ben. And so I think that she's actually really a really intelligent player and can insulate herself well with other big threats. That's what I'm really cheering for. I mean, I have some cheering, obviously, some people I want to win in this season, but I think it would be really cool if Kira finds herself with some of these other people that think that others think are going to just inherently do well and aligns themselves together. I think that would be so sick.
That would be sick. I do hope the best for Kira this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll add about Kira is, I mean, I think she probably would have been one of probably in the mix of like my top 3 as well. I feel like she is really dangerous, and maybe people are gonna, say that right away. But at the same time, I feel like there's so many big threats. Like, she doesn't stand out when you first think like, oh my gosh, who's running the whole game? And I think that's going to benefit her with all these huge personalities, all these people talking beforehand, and everything. So I think she's really positioned well compared to the rest of these folks, I think. So we'll move on to the 102, and that was someone that is on this recording. It's got a cat going nuts in the background here, but a draft cat, would you pick with the 102?
Yeah, so for my pick, I picked him. Yeah, my cat's going a bit crazy right now. I picked Damaris as my number 2. Again, kind of like Kira, she's going in with a lot of like a good foundation to kind of work her way up, and like she didn't really get to play a really straightforward game on her first time around. She kind of was in purgatory the whole pre-merge and kind of got back and did some work in the post-merge and did a really good job until she eventually got booted at, I think it was at the double, right? Or
the double tribal.
Yeah, so like she has, again, a really good foundation to kind of build herself up and a second chance, and I feel like she does have kind of what Kira has, as in she's a very nice person and no one really like disliked her going out of the season. So she does have that going for her, and I feel like she will also kind of do a really good job with building, alliances and making a really good like case to win the game. And if she doesn't like do a big move and like really early on, she does have a chance to kind of really slide under the radar and kind of make it far in the game.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I definitely think out of all the women that could like go under the radar and go really far, I definitely think it could be Maris. It could be Maris right here. And the big thing that gets me with Maris is that she does have a lot of experiences that she's been very vocal and open about. She's definitely a lot smarter than I think a lot of people give her credit for. And I think for some people who have only watched Survivor Wisconsin and are coming back for second chance, that's all they're going to know from her is new blood. So she might be able to get away with a lot more than what she was able to before. So I'm definitely very excited to see how Maris does this season.
I will say, so before I say what I'm going to say in response to that, Maris was my 102. So it has gone what I think is chalk so far with Kira and then Amaris. I think you honestly could have flipped them because I was debating if I got the 101, which one I would have taken. And so I think she is set up incredibly well. I will say this, her cast being predominantly the last 2 seasons is not going to do her favors because they know her and know how big a threat she is. I think what does do her favors is she's not this like over the top personality like your Bens or your Wills, or I'm going to get so much crap for saying both of them are over the top. I'll mention Vincent as over the top just so he won't feel left out. And so I will say, like, people are coming in and are like, this season was essentially made for Maris. Like, if anyone deserves a second chance, it is her. She is like the poster child of Survivor Wisconsin second chances. And that just paints an enormous target on her back. And so I'm really interested to see how she navigates that target, even with some of the bigger personalities who might take that away.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I in Amaris, like, unfortunately, someone didn't show up, like we've talked about in the beginning of New Blood, so we had to kind of think on the fly, and she drew the rock that she had to sit out the first round, so she lost a lot of traction beginning of the game. Luckily, she got a second chance kind of with winning the comeback challenge in New Blood, but, like, she was so far behind in relationship building, I feel like at that point, like, it just was really unfortunate for her. So this season was made for her, and I honestly think if people are smart, they'll get her out early. I feel like if she gets footing in the game, it's going to be really hard to get her out. Because she's someone you, like, want to be friends with. She doesn't come off, as someone that's, like, really, like, lying a lot or trying to, like, play you. So, like, I think if they don't get her out early, like, she's going to be in really good position right away, I really think.
Yeah.
All right, so great pick, Alex. Seemed like a lot of people were thinking her as an early selection. So the next pick on the clock, it was Stive, who's unable to join us for this. Stive went with a player from season 8 as well. Another female. Keep it going with the females here. We got to even split everybody, so no complaining this time with only 3 girls on the past season. So Stive actually did take the fan favorite, not the player of the season. Player of the season's right here. The fan favorite from season 8, Kayla. He put for Kayla. She's very social, so I see her making more friends and allies. Plus, I see her learning a lot from last season, especially when she didn't know, like, a ton about Survivor going into it, and then use that new knowledge to maybe win an immunity challenge or 2 and maybe find another advantage or idol. So, I mean, I'll kind of kick it off with what I think. I mean, I think surprising, like, she is going to maybe come off as a big threat, Kayla, but I feel like everyone liked her so much from watching it and people that have met her that she is going to be the most popular person in the beginning. And maybe that won't do her well in the end, but I think early on, like, she's not going to get targeted immediately, I really think, unless some people want to get her out more than I think. But I feel like she's, like, who everybody wants to go with. So I think it was a pretty good pick. She wasn't in my top 3 for how I think's going to do well this season, but she's definitely in the top half. So whoever wants to chime in.
Yeah. I agree. I think I was actually really concerned for Kayla. My biggest concern is not that she's a big threat. I think she has this, like, I think it's not a 1-for-1, but I think she has this Michelle Fitzgerald aspect about her where it's like she is loud in confessionals, she is loud at tribal, but, like, I wouldn't call her quiet at camp, but she's not, like, as, like, in your face as you often think she would be at camp. And she actually, because of that, can fly under the radar a little bit. Can you guys hear my baby?
Adorable.
All right.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'll keep going. But I think my biggest concern actually is that, like, just from her season and knowing a little bit about her and who she coming in with a good relationship with, I, like, am worried about a stray bullet for someone going for Jamil or Ben. And I could see, like, if she starts on a tribe with one of those two, it could actually be real detriment to her game, because it's like, all right, we're going to go for, we kind of want to weaken Ben. We want to weaken Jamil, like, defang them. Let's take out someone who's probably going to be, like, pretty loyal to them. And so I do really hope that, and I think Kayla will. I mean, she is her own person. Like, let's just be clear about that. She is not number 2 to anyone. She's number 1 in my heart, in my mother's heart. And so the reality is like, I think that's going to be just a misperception about her that could get her in trouble. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think Kayla actually can hide a little bit early. And then once she gets those Kayla roots in, it is so hard to get her out of that. Yeah.
She's a fighter.
It's so hard to get her out of that soil. Yep.
Yeah, I honestly agree with a lot of that. I do think Kayla has a lot of potential going into this season, despite being one of the biggest players of the most recent season. However, since she is one of the bigger names, I do feel inclined to kind of be concerned of like, are they really going to let her go that far? But again, I do agree with that. If she gets the social roots in and plays her cards right, she could essentially like at least guarantee herself merge, and who knows from there. I mean, I don't know if I would say she was the worst at the challenges, but like, I mean, she doesn't really need immunity to guarantee herself safety is what I'm going to say. You know, maybe a couple idols here and there, but who really knows what's going to happen? I think Kayla has a lot of high hopes coming into the season. Could I see her getting to the finals? I don't think so, because I think she's a very charismatic person, and I think people are going to see that. So I'd be surprised if she ends up finding her way to the final tribal without winning immunity or having to idol her way there. But I still think she's going to be a really fun player this season. So I'm very ecstatic to see how far she goes. And if she wins, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to watch. Like her exploding that final tribal, going off saying, "This is what I did. You all suck. Let's go." Like, I'd love to see that. That'd be iconic.
Yeah. I'm high on her as well because there's a lot of big names in this season, and like hers isn't really like, I would say like the biggest one. So like again, like last season for her, their tribe just fell apart and she was kind of on the bottom. Her name was being thrown out every single tribal. So if she gets a really good footing in the pre-merge, she can really do some damage in the post-merge if she has numbers going in to the post-merge. Again, her gameplay, I don't feel like her gameplay was really shown well in the season just because she was playing from the bottom the whole time. So like if we can see her playing from like the middle or the top, it'll be really cool to see how she kind of navigates that whole basically the whole season if she kind of gets her footing. So yeah, I'm very high on her as well, and I hope she makes it far as well because she has a really good like story going into Second Chance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a good point too, like Sty made when he picked her, was like going into not New Blood, Calm vs. Chaos, she didn't know a lot about how the game works with Survivor. So her learning more from watching the show now and experiencing more could help her. Maybe she comes in with a little bit of a different strategy, how to play things off, maybe not so upfront. That maybe will help her. But I think we're at the point with this season. There's a lot of pregame going on that we know about. There's a lot of people that think they are in such a good position, and they're going to be shell-shocked once they see the tribe. They're going to be shell-shocked when things might not go the way they want. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how people play it off. So I think next on the clock is Mr. Player of the Season from our last season, Jimmy, over there.
Yes, sir. So with the 105, I was like, okay, do we continue the female train or do we throw in our first guy? And I just want to say, we're going down with the patriarchy, baby. I went with Maddie, third place finisher of season 7, New Blood. And I just want to say this, Maddie, come here. Get close to the screen. Look me in the eyes. If you do poorly, I'm going to be so mad at you. I just want you to know that. I have a lot writing on this. No, Maddie, I'm just really excited. I think, truth be told, like we have, and I think it's showing in our draft, we have a lot of loud men in this season. And I think that there's going to be a little bit of egoing on that end. And I think that this is a female season. Like, I think that this is set up really, really well for the women. And I think that like we've talked about a lot of big threats already. Look, if everyone's a big threat, no one's a big threat. And so I just think Maddie, even though you would like maybe think like, oh, she's flying under the radar, or she made it to the end, she can't fly under the radar, she's really personable. Like, there are so many loud, big personality people here that I think Maddie is set up so well. And you watch her first game, I mean, she makes it to the end because she's hyper social. She had her foot in everything. But the reality is that she had no moves for herself. But even then, she had the best final tribal performance of those 3 with nothing to claim. And so just imagine if Maddie makes 1, 2 big moves and then gets to the end. I think it's just like game over for her. And so I think she's hypersocial. Everyone wants to be her friend. She's in every alliance. And I think Maddie takes it home this season.
So she's your winner pick too, you think?
She is. She's my winner pick, predominantly because I have an ego. And now that she's on my team, she is now my winner pick.
I definitely think Maddie's game is going to be very dependent, kind of like with what we said about Kayla. If Maddie can get the roots in the game and get her footing in there, get some social bonds set up, she's good to go. However, last time she played, I think it did take a couple of rounds for people started to really trust her and see her game. And I think for Maddie, it's going to be very dependent on if she can get those roots in fast. If she can get those roots in fast and maybe rekindle some relationships and maybe assuade some people's worries, such as maybe even like people she blindsided last time, then I think she'll be good to go. However, if she can't, as people start talking about challenge strength, I could see her being a very quick early boot. And I don't want that because I want to have a couple fun confessionals with Maddie. But it really does depend on how her social game goes. Because again, if she gets her roots in, she's going to go far. If she can't get her footing, she's tripping and falling at the start, who really knows? She might get lucky and get to the end, and then maybe she'll learn from her last time and be more aggressive at the end, but who really knows? I definitely am back and forth on Maddie. I'm 50-50, so.
You guys were there. What do you think caused the sort of like slow trust of other people? And then do you think she can recover from like making it to a final and having backstab some people?
I definitely think she can recover from it. I think anyone can recover from it. It all depends on how they play the game the next time they're out there and the bonds they make. If they go really like batshit crazy, jumping off the walls left and right, pissing people off, obviously it's not going to end well for them. But if they can keep a cool head and keep calm and just see the full picture, like I know Maddie does. Maddie has a lot of awareness too. That is also why I'm very high on Maddie. It's just more of, are they going to be aware of how good Maddie is now that it's kind of out there?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was your first
I mean,
question?
my only worry with just in response to Jimmy, and then I'll hand over to Alex, give his thoughts.
Yeah.
My only concern with Maddie is just there's a lot of people in this season she was responsible for voting off because their tribe kept kind of losing too, similar to Converse Chaos. Like she voted off Amaris, I believe, twice. I don't know if the second time she voted for her, but voted Amaris off for sure once. She voted Annika off. She voted Will off. I mean, that one was just kind of a bad tribe swap, so I would hope maybe he would have an open mind. But, like, I'm a little nervous about that. But besides that, like, these other people that she hasn't played with, like, people are going to gravitate towards her because she's very social, and she makes you feel comfortable. I don't know if it was a slow burn, I feel like, with her gameplay maybe. But, I mean, obviously she got in with the right people on her tribe, and they trusted her enough to – not vote her at all really in the beginning, or really at all in the game. Maybe they just didn't think she was a threat, but I think if she gets past, like there's a lot of people in the season, if they get past the first couple rounds, like they are going to be pretty untouchable towards the end.
Yeah. My take is for her first season, she played with a lot of loud and pretty out there people. She's playing that same season again. And I feel like she had to kind of replicate what she did again, because she was basically a number, like all pre-merge. She was, riding with the numbers, and then right when a merge hit, she kind of branched off and kind of grew her own game. I kind of see that happening again, just because of the cast just being loud and really out there people. So I feel like she'll kind of ride with, say, like, Will maybe, and just kind of take along with him and be a number for the pre-merge, and then kind of bounce off and do her own stuff and merge again. So I do see her going far, but I can also see her being like a early boot as well, just because of kind of people knowing how her game is and kind of getting out the number earlier than later. So I can see it going both ways.
I definitely want to kind of say this in response to that, Alex, because I just started thinking about it. Maddie right now, for I think some of us, is like Schrodinger's cat. You don't know if the cat's alive or dead in the box. And it's kind of like Maddie. You don't know if she's going to go far or go off and drop dead early on. You never know. It's kind of like Schrodinger's survivor. I don't know.
And also, she's not been talking a lot at all, really, for like pre-gaming at all. So like she's sitting good right now. Well, more than other people, I guess.
Yeah, some people are very obvious.
Yeah, we know there's a lot of pre-gaming going out there. I mean, this is being filmed. This is going to be premiered after they already filmed. I mean, they're going to be known like right away that me and Christian are not happy about it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I also think it's gonna. I mean, if we're talking about it, I think it's gonna screw some people.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
let's be
100%.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
there are some people who have pre-gamed way too hard and think that they're flying under the radar about it, and are also not necessarily even like, from what I've heard, I'm like not interested in any of that stuff. It's like, but like, are not even teachable about it. Like and so it's just like, okay, like congrats, first boot. Like we'll see on the first boot season that Richie wants to run.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure like it's gonna screw some people over.
Yeah, and I do say like they are playing for money and they're putting money into this, so it's really their money being like shown. So like they're really kind of putting themselves in a hole if they're doing a lot of pre-gaming because like
Yeah.
I mean, we literally did the cast reveal because of the pre-gaming. Like we felt like we had to at that point. It is what it is.
felt
I
like it
didn't
was
say they
already over.
couldn't. Oh yeah, I didn't say they couldn't, but I'm still getting used to, like, in our past fraternity seasons in the past, it was just people that we're friends with. They're all friends anyways. Like, it wasn't going to stop, but this is, I feel like, a whole new level. And, it is what it is. But definitely, I think people that maybe you might think, like, on paper, people that aren't really pre-gaming at all are going to be kind of fucked. But I know when push comes to shove, when they're actually, like, playing there, like, stuff is go completely out the window when you get the games actually going on. And, like, you don't know what tribe you're on and everything. So, like, the tribes, I think, will be interesting too. So, yeah. All right, Richie. You're on the fucking clock, I think, eh?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to lay down a hammer like my pick did in an iconic challenge. And Amelia. Amelia is my first pick. I do definitely think that Amelia has a lot of potential. And I think I said it before. If not, I'll say it again. Amelia is a winner in waiting in my mind. You can put her on X amount of seasons. She's going to win one of them. Like, it doesn't matter, like, how many times she's played. She's going to eventually win one because I do think she has the capabilities to go far, play hard. And again, kind of like some other people would discuss, I don't know if Amelia had that much knowledge on Survivor before the game, but when she did end up competing, she was able to pick it up pretty fast, identify Alex as a pretty big threat. She was doing pretty decently well. Even though she was a loud character early on, she also knew strategically to kind of just go with the flow early on and not push the boundaries. And I think the only thing that really fucked her over was being associated with what I like to call the Tegan clique and Captain's Curse, which unfortunately, being a part of the Tegan cult basically meant you probably weren't going to win because there was such a stigma of we got to separate the friend group to get them out, or at least that's how I saw it throughout the season. No shade to anyone in that group. They made it the season pretty fun. But Amelia, I do think, has so much potential strategically. And what?
It's true.
Yeah, I think Amelia has a lot of potential. And I could really see with how many big personalities are coming back into the mix. I think Amelia could vibe with the big personalities while also vibing with the quieter strategists. And I think Amelia, now that she has more knowledge of the game, is definitely going to know to keep her head down and her mouth shut as all these other big players from the last couple seasons start taking shots, trying to play Russian roulette with each other. And then she's going to be one holding the empty gun at the end of it all, sitting there, dust settling. She wins.
So she's your winner pick then, too?
I would tentatively say she's my winner pick. Yes, for now, I will tentatively call her my winner pick. There's a couple.
You got to make the pick in this draft, I think.
What?
You got to make your pick in this draft, I think.
Well, I mean, I would say Amelia is my winner pick then.
All right.
Okay, Richie.
Good luck.
Yeah, Richie, I love you. Let me. No, I'm sitting down, right? Or you're sitting down, right, Richie? I love you. You know that nothing I say has anything to do with how I feel about you.
You have a hammer, right? I
think this was the worst pick in the draft, like, bar none. And I know Amelia seems like she will yell at me, and I really like Amelia as a person. But I'm sorry, she came out and she was chasing, was it Alex, who found the idol, believing that she could.
It wasn't me.
Andy. Yeah. Sorry, I was picturing him, but she was chasing him, believing she could take the idol from him. She blindsided her roommate on the very first vote, the one that she led, talked about first, and like there's
So you
no
say she
way
can lead a vote, is what I'm hearing. She can lead a
There's
vote.
no way. When they let her, when they're like, yeah, we'll let you blindside your best friend. There's no way she flies under the radar. She was just like, I think that there are people who
People change. People can change the
don't
strategy.
know that people do change. But can you imagine Amelia sitting down and watching Survivor Wisconsin?
Yes.
She had never watched. Okay, maybe she did, but I'm like, if she hadn't watched CBS Survivor when she was about to come play, like, what makes me think that like she's doing prep for this time? And I could be wrong, but I'm just like, I think she is the kind of person who doesn't know the game. Where you have some people where it's like, oh, they're learning it as they go. And you have like, what's her name from Australian Survivor who ended up being on Aussie versus the World, who's really great. She picked it up as she went, and she was who?
Are you talking about Kirby, Janine? Or...
Kirby. Thank you, Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby like flew under the radar. She was really great, but Amelia just like said everything, and she's like too much of a wild card for me. And I think when you can't predict someone, you want to just get that puzzle piece out of the game. And I just think she's too unpredictable.
But they could use that puzzle piece for their puzzle.
Not if she's unpredictable. Like she and Andy were like,
Alex,
maybe I will go for you.
Yeah, actually, we should get Alex's thoughts. He played with her and just
Yeah.
the hammer, Alex.
Yeah, because I clocked her ass in the merge. But but no. So again, I'll start off. I'll get into my game second, but I'll start off with explaining what I think is going to happen. So, going into this, her and Addie are the only two that are not from seasons 7 or 8. So they're kind of either at a negative or a positive right now, depending on how they play the game. I feel like Amelia does have a better shot, kind of, just because she kind of I feel like knows more about the game, knowing like playing it out and hopefully watching as well. And I feel like going into the season, she does have a good shot if she kind of tones it down and kind of plays a style where it's more, listening than actually speaking a lot. But she does have a good shot of going far. Winning, I can't see her winning, but I can see her making it to the merge and doing some damage there. Now, playing with her, knowing what was going on, she is a player you don't want to get to the end. And I knew that going into the merge, the first one of the merge, I knew that she had to go just because she had so much ties at times with everybody, and that I needed to get her out as soon as possible so we can actually kind of break up that. So she does do a good job of, like keeping the flow of communication going, but again, she might overplay and get voted out.
Yeah, I'll share my thoughts on her. I don't think it was a bad pick. I mean, I'm an Amelia fan. I mean, she won fan favorite, in her limited time. I do think like I said, when we did the cast review, I'm a little nervous for her and Addie because they're not from 7 and 8. One or two things are going to happen. People may be like, oh, I should use this person because they have nobody else here, and use them as a number. And then maybe stuff plays out, or they're going to just be easy first vote offs. Is I think the only two things that are going to happen, unfortunately. Maybe it'll be different. I think she has a better chance than Addie because she's more social. You could see, like, in Captain's Curse, and Alex knows this, and that's why they voted her off early in the merge. You could tell as the game was going on, she was like learning on the fly more and more how the game works. Why? So, like, I don't think her Addie watched the show. I don't know if they watched 7 or 8. I mean, they should, but maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I think Amelia would be able to pick up on stuff again and maybe make some connection with the girls. Since there's a lot, even 7-7, so maybe that will help her. But I wouldn't have picked her this early. I think she's either going out really early or she's probably going to make like a little bit further than she did last time round wise. Maybe she'll have more tricks up her sleeve than I'm thinking, and maybe I'm underestimating her. But yeah.
Do you guys feel like?
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask her. Yeah, let me ask real quick. Because obviously you guys got to see more than just what was shown on season 5. Do you feel like
Yeah.
she's going to be? She has the capacity to be like really loyal to someone.
I think she could. I think it really, again, it does depend on how they, I think from what I recall seeing of her throughout the game, I think it really does depend on how they interact with her. And like, again, like if they keep like trying to screw her over left and right, I don't think she's going to be loyal to them for a heartbeat. But I think
totally. Yeah, none of us will be,
again, like she can get those roots in with people and can make decent bonds with everyone. She could, I think, be very loyal to them. I think it definitely just depends on the people she's with and how they interact with her and what happens. So
I hope I'm wrong. I think she's amazing TV. I want to get to know Amelia. I think she's going to be really, really fun. I hope I'm wrong. I actually think Addie, because she's quieter, might fly under the radar longer is kind of my take, but I hope I'm, well, not wrong about Addie, but I hope I'm wrong about Amelia.
I'm hoping you're wrong too, Jimmy.
Try.
Yeah, I mean, they could.
Oh, really?
I mean, when push comes to shove, I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if all this pre-gaming is BS or what. We'll see when push comes to shove. But I'm rooting for her, for sure. I'm glad she was able to do this, but we'll see what happens. We'll move into I'm up here at the 6th pick. Now it felt like this kind of came to the point. Like I felt like those first 4 picks were pretty like cut and dry. I thought personally, like probably in the mix for the top 4 in my opinion too. Then after that, I thought it was really a crapshoot based on like what I've been hearing about pre-gaming, people going on other shows altogether right before this and things like that. And I ultimately did still go with Ben. I think he's really well insulated with everybody. Obviously, he's trying to be friends with everybody. He is friends with everybody, whatever you want to say. I am really nervous for him that they could just take him out early and it's all like for show, like what's been all going on behind the scenes. So I do worry this is kind of a high risk, high reward pick, and that's why I kind of did it. I'm worried he's either going to get out pretty quickly or he might win the game. It really depends if people are going to give him a chance or not, or they're just going to be like, come on, like we know how much Ben knows about the show. We know he knows how to play the game. He's got a connection with almost everybody. But again, like Maddie, there's also people that he had to vote off on this season too. So it's kind of a high risk, high reward pick. I feel like everybody else left, in my opinion, is kind of like it's tough to say what's going to happen. I could see them getting out early or not, and because of a lot of pre-gaming that I've been hearing about. But I felt like it was just like I'll roll the dice on Ben, I guess.
Yeah.
Ben feels. Actually, you go, Richie. You go.
Okay. No, I was actually about to let you go, but okay. So the big thing with Ben is that I do kind of feel the same way. I think if Ben's able to sneak on by, he could make it to the end and possibly win. He is a very charismatic player. He's very good socially. Unfortunately, Ben is also a very bold person. I think early on, depending on the people he's with, it's going to bite him in the ass, which is unfortunate because I really like Ben reminds me so much of myself when I first started playing. And for that, I really do want to see Ben go far. However, do I think Ben's actually going to go far? I honestly lean no, which sucks because I hope I'm very wrong. But just with everything I'm kind of seeing, I'm kind of like, Ben could be a very easy first out just for the fact that he's such a big name from a recent season, a very big character, loves to cause chaos and stir the pot. Like, I think that could honestly spell a lot of trouble for him early on. So I think he really does need to, I guess, not like check himself before he wrecks himself. But I think if he can get in with the right people, he could go very far and possibly win. It's all going to depend on how the first round goes for him, I think. That's going to really spell out first boot doomed or endgame boss. So
I agree with most of your points, but I actually disagree with the outcome. So I think Ben is your like quintessential 8th place LRG player. And I think quintessential. That means, do you want me to? Oh, Quentin Central.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
King Q, my boy. Look, he is
the big meat shield until he gets to the merge, basically, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I think if someone takes out Ben pre-merge, I actually think that they are going very soon. It's an enormous move, and it puts an enormous target on your back. What I need to see from Ben is like exactly what Richie said. Can he sit on his hands? He is a bold player. He cannot help himself. And I think Ben is actually someone who sort of like benefits from the status quo. And so it's like if things are happening in a big alliance and they're all moving along together and Ben's part of that, that's really, really beneficial for Ben because he's always seen as a threat even if he doesn't do much. But Ben has never shown me that he can like really sit on his hands in a game. And so I think he gets a part of that big alliance, and then all of a sudden he's like, all right, it's probably time to take out like Maris, who I think is going to win at like 9th. And it's like, Ben, you could have done that at 6th, man, and then won in an immunity or 2. And so I really hope he sits on his hands because Ben would be an awesome winner for Survivor Wisconsin. And my dog is chewing something up. So now, Alex, I'm going to throw it to you.
All right. For me, Ben is a good player when he really calms down. Because when he's really, hyper and like doing a lot of stuff, he does do a lot of mistakes that kind of cost him in the game. But like as we saw, kind of on the pre-merge tribe, he was in control of a lot of us, and he was really kind of doing a lot of good on that pre-merge tribe. But when that merge hit, he was really frantically going around and just trying to be with in every single conversation while like running around and doing a lot of stuff. So if he can manage to kind of like actually coast through the merge, he has a really good shot of getting far. On the other hand, now, he's a very loud guy, and I love Ben, but like he can do a lot of damage with his with his voice, and we saw
Huge news.
Huge news. Yep.
Huge news.
So we saw it, and like I know like he probably has learned a lot from his first time on, but like people are for sure gonna use him just because he is a really good meat shield to kind of coast to the merge with. But he also needs to know that he also needs a meat shield as well. And if he takes out his meat shield early, then he's next in line. So like he needs to kind of know when to kind of take out his meat shield and to know when to flip. So yeah, a lot of promising aspects of his game, also a lot of negative aspects of his game. Kind of like me. But like, yeah.
I think you have a lot more pros and cons though, Alex.
No, I think like I said, I think my pick's the ultimate like high risk, high reward here. I mean,
that's fair.
It's tough. I mean, people could be playing with him, like that all this whatever going on, like giving him information beforehand, whatever he wants to say, and then they're just like, well, let's just like use him or kind of thing. So he is gonna have to really sit on his hands and make his moves intentionally, like at the right timing. It's gonna be really about timing with him, and yeah, I mean, he like you said, New Blood, he quickly kind of fell on the bottom really quickly, and he had to make some shit happen, and that's I think what I'm worried about might happen again.
Yes.
But I do think Ben is incredible at organizing moves. It just, like you said, it has to be about timing. And Ben, no one is falling for your, I'm actually really not strategic in the Discord. Like, stop trying it, Ben. We all see through it. That's it. Yeah. I do love you, Ben. I do hope he does not. I hope he does not sit on his hands.
Yeah, like for me, I really do want to be wrong about this, but at the moment, my gut instinct is saying the first out or one of the first out will be Ben. Wow. Which I hate saying that because I want Ben to go far. He's such an entertaining player. He's so energetic, and I love his energy. So like, it really does break my heart a little bit to say that about Ben, but like, I really don't know with everything going on and how vocal he is. I unfortunately am not sure how far he's going to get. Like, if he does manage to get to the merge, he's probably going to be like Eliza and Micronesia. I would love if he got to the end and won. If he's able to have an underdog story, get to the end and win and say, I got here against all odds. He has a massively strong case. The question is, can he keep his mouth shut a little bit to get to that point? And I don't know. So I love the kid. Ben's an awesome guy, but I really don't know right now. I could be very wrong, and I genuinely hope for Ben's sake that I am.
And I think it does speak really highly of Ben. Like, both of you compared yourselves to Ben in some ways. Like Richie, you were talking about that. Alex, you were like, we both have a lot of flaws. And even right after my game, I compared myself to Ben, and I think that's a really great quality that he has. He like reflects your best qualities right back to you. But that you in a game is so dangerous, right? And so I actually hope he does a lot of stuff and somehow it works, and it would be so cool. But
Oh yeah.
He's gotta do, like, I think he's gotta try to save the entertainment factor for in the confessionals, not alt front. I think that will help him.
100%.
We'll see. I mean, it's gonna be telling. I think he has been trying to do a little too much. Maybe he's saying like he isn't, but I know he is. It's just obvious, but we'll see. It's really fun, like talking about this before it's actually filmed, like to see what's going to actually happen.
Yeah, you
All
guys
right,
don't spoil it for me, because I'm excited to watch.
I
No
won't.
spoilers.
I never do.
I won't, Jimmy.
You got
I
to
can't
tell
make
the people that are
movies for
playing
Alex.
not to.
Huh?
That's the thing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to block their numbers.
You're gonna have to tell players that are playing not to say anything. That's gonna be the key.
I'll tell them not to.
Yeah, they'll listen to you, right? They're not gonna listen to anybody. They don't listen to me even. But we'll close it out now with the first round, last pick. Christian had the last pick, so he'll be back to back. So he'll start round 2. He did pick Will from New Blood. Christian put Will is competitive as fuck. He actually does well in challenges, which could help him in the early stage. Could see him winning individual challenges when it's needed. And he knows how to plant the right seeds to influence people's moves. Now, I'll start off with my thoughts on Will. He was initially like my pick, like going into it, but I'm gonna bring it up, and I was disappointed about it, but it is what it is. I know like 6 of these people just played in the season 2 weeks ago. I know Will made the furthest. I'm assuming he made a lot of big moves, and I am worried now that people that just played with him are gonna remember that and try to get him out because of that. I really hope not. That's like my only concern with Will is that this season that they all had to do together is going to bite him in the butt, because otherwise before that I'm like he's gonna make a deep run because he's just gonna go all out. I mean, he got Tribe Swap screwed in his first time around with us, so I really hope that's not the case, but I am really worried that people are going to want to get revenge on him quickly because of that season they just did together.
Oh yeah. I'll go next.
Yeah, you can go next.
Yeah. So Will, again, before the whole other things happened, I was comparing Will to a Ben, but more calm. Will is a huge threat going into this game, just because of how he plays. Because he plays a very a direct game. He kind of confronts people if they're saying stuff like lies and stuff like that, and he will really be a true villain. And like we love that because he makes really good content. But also, like, he is a huge threat come merge if he doesn't win competitions. But he is a meat shield for everybody in this game. Like, everybody wants to go with him, so that can carry him a long way into the merge if he just keeps winning out. But also, like, if he gets hit in the pre-merge, I can see it happening as well. So like, it is also another boomer bust kind of player like Ben is. So that's kind of how I view him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of that. Will is very charismatic. However, his words can cut as sharp as a knife whenever he needs them to. And I think he can have them cut in such a way where they will listen to what he says. If there's like a random award, like most likely Cult Master, I think it would go to Will. Like, I think Will 100%. Like, if anyone's going to start a cult alliance, like in South Pacific, Will would be most likely to do that. He's charismatic. He's able to get people to listen to him, mostly. New Blood being an exception with his vote off. But I mean, even then, he was still able to get John to kind of go vote for Zach. No one really wanted to vote for Will. I think he has a lot of good ties. I think for the people who only knew him on New Blood, I think, again, kind of like what we were talking about with Amaris, despite the fact that Amaris has done a lot of stuff before, if they only know Will from New Blood, that's going to benefit him in a retrospective that they're only going to know him as he just missed out on the merge, but he has a lot of potential. I want to work with him because I like Will. I mean, Will even said himself, "Queen stays queen." Let's see the queen start a cult, right? Come on, Will, stir the pot, stir the pot, stir the pot.
We're gonna let you do that chant on your own.
Yeah.
This is my biggest concern with Will. We all are like, he's direct. Devin said intimidating, cutting, or whatever you said his words were.
Yeah.
That is someone, if I do not intend to take them to the end and see myself as another big threat, that is someone I am worried to have on the jury. Because if I'm the one that betrays him, he is very charismatic. He does create cult-like followings in great ways. I want to follow Will wherever he is. But I think that means like you do not want the jury to be following Will if Will feels like he was crossed by you and wants to ruin your game. And so I could see that. Like I see Will and Ben as like fairly similar threat levels, but Ben, we saw with Rebecca, like when Rebecca was directly against him, Ben still votes for Rebecca in the end. And I think that actually speaks to, or that actually resonates with people where they're like, okay, even if I backstab Ben, I can convince him to vote for me. With Will, when Atticus got on his bad side, Atticus stayed on his bad side, right? And obviously he was the one or the first boot, but I just think that's at least, if we're all talking about it, and that's what I was thinking before you guys talked, I think that's going to be a part that's at least in some people's heads.
I know, but it's easier to just drink the Kool-Aid, Jimmy, right? You know, like drink the
Oh,
Kool-Aid.
yeah. I drink the Will Kool-Aid all day, every day. And we don't need to talk about Alex and his thing with Will.
What?
No, we don't. Christian did say he wanted to pick Will, so
Yep.
Alex won't get him. I believe he added that in
Oh,
there.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Alex tried to slow play the relationship, but we saw right through it.
Yeah, people saw it at the watch party,
Yeah.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I signed tribes for who's filming what, and I'm Alex might be with Will. I'd have to double check on that one. Will.
Yeah, be careful, Alex.
All
No,
right.
Will is going to be interesting. I mean, it's really going to come like Ben. It's going to come down to how everybody else is going to perceive them, how they want to play with them or not. So we'll move on now to round 2. So the second half, the players. Again, players, don't take this personal. Take it personal if you want. We're just basing on how we think you're going to do. Prove us wrong. We're probably going to be wrong. Let's be honest, anyway. So Christian now got the first pick in the second round. This time, Christian took a player from our most recent season, Calm vs. Chaos. He took someone that it got caught up to him that he called someone out for finding an idol, and it really just was his mantra the whole game. Christian did take Nick with the first pick in the second round, the 8th pick overall. Christian's notes on Nick was, I think he's someone who could make good with any wrongs of the past. He didn't do well the first time, so threat level is probably lower, and will be someone that others should look to reach out that maybe they're not as like connected with him. And he's more likely to correctly play an advantage if he finds it. And then his social standing as leverage with other people, whether he's high or low on the totem pole that round, could really benefit him. So, and he also noted, I think, so Richie couldn't get him. But if Nick would have made it past this, I'm up next. I would have taken him anyways, Richie. So sorry about that. But I think this is a really good pick. I think his notes are pretty spot on. I think Nick is going in there with a very low threat level compared to everybody else. He's just got to – I mean, the number one thing I'll say, I said it in the cast reveal, if he sees someone find something, he's really got to be careful who he tells about it.
Yeah. I definitely will talk a lot about Nick. Everyone knows that like Nick and I are friends. I don't think that's a secret.
Are we friends too?
I'd like to
Yeah,
think we're all
what's going on here?
Are we all friends here?
Well, okay. The point being,
Just kidding.
Jimmy, I swear to God. Anyways, okay. Jokes aside, like Nick for sure, I think definitely saw how his game played out, and I would like to believe that he is very well aware of what did his game in and what really worked for him. However, again, there are a lot of loud men on this cast. You know, and like Nick is kind of, I don't want to call him a loud guy. Like I do think of all the guys, he has the most potential to kind of have a loud reputation, but then come in the next time and change up his gameplay a bit. He's one of the people I do think has a lot of that potential. I really think Nick 100% is at least making merge, unless some massive like twist or idle or some random like flip happens at the last second. Like, I'd be shocked if Nick doesn't make merge. I really do believe Nick's at least making merge. Do I think he's going to win? I really don't know. Again, I think it really depends on how he plays the game at hand. I don't know, because again, I do have ideas for who I think is going to win, or certain people who might win, and I'll get to that more with my second pick later on. But I really do think Nick has a lot of potential in this season, and I really do think that Nick, I'm really excited to see Nick play. So I don't know, it's kind of up in the air. Kind of like we're talking about Maddie. Nick is like Schrodinger's Survivor player.
I think Nick has to show me that he can control a narrative, and in a positive way for himself. So I think that I mean, we all saw it. Like, his issue in the first game was like, he thought his own name was on the block. It's clearly not on the block. And it then became a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where he talked about himself so much that it ended up being on the block. I'm only bringing up another game that he played shortly after, because I think it still shows the same flaw. So he played in Survivor Milwaukee a little bit after, and I followed the game on Instagram. And Nick, like, every shot was like Nick with his shirt off and just like looks like a beast. And he was a beast in that game. Copper, quiet. He was a beast in that game, like, and then still could not control the narrative around him, like, being a challenge beast. And so I just hope Nick has had a little bit more time than like 1 week to process a game, and just be like, okay, I have to recognize like how to control a narrative, particularly around challenges, because that could like get him in trouble in the beginning. I think if he's not in trouble in the beginning, we're looking at like 4th place, 5th place, maybe even a win for Nick. So I agree. I think he could do really well if he can control the narrative.
Yeah. For Nick, this was, his first season he played with us. So like, he, again, going into this, he's not played a game at all beforehand, and, doing his best on a failing track like that, he did do his best. Of course, calling out that idol did really put him as one of the targets. But now, like, learning from what he did wrong in his first season, and again playing in Milwaukee as well, he has kind of garnered like the knowledge on how to actually play the game at like a decent level. And hopefully, like, with his second chance here, like, he can really step it up and kind of acknowledge what he did wrong and what he needs to do right. Again, people love Nick. Talking with Nick is so easy as well. So like, he is a very good person to talk to and to align with as well. Like, do you want to align with him in the long run? Maybe not, but like in like when the pre-merge, that's a really good ally to kind of go along with it. And I know Dan's gonna call me out as another Nick Glazer, but like, he's a good player, So yeah.
Now I want a donut.
Yep.
I will say, just because like this is recorded before, you guys aren't going to see it before. I've seen Nick in a lot of pictures with some of the other cast members, and I am actually worried he is not. With Jamil. And I'm actually worried he has not controlled the narrative pre-game very well. I think that there's a narrative that out right now that he is working really hard and to pregame and things like that. And I think that could actually screw him over. So I'm a little worried, because I think he could have the potential to come in as like a Maddie and be like a little bit under the radar, but still socially connected. And I'm worried he's put himself at a higher like risk level for people, because he has worked hard relationally in this in-between time.
Right, and I do kind of want to say, like, from my experience, because this is the first Oliver tourney season we've done since Legends, and being the one guy who played Legends that's in this chat right now, I do want to say that, like, a lot of preconceived notions people have pre-game, 90% of the time, they all go out the door at the first 5 minutes you're in the game. A lot of the times, you have to switch up your game the second you go into there. Like, sometimes pre-gaming,
Totally.
like, sending...
Well, and they don't even know the tribes either.
Right, you never know the tribes, but like I definitely think a lot of notions people have can definitely be thrown out the window unless you have directly played with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I do love
I'm
how we
interested in
have
what he
the
does, but-
social hour as well before the game, because that is really going to be really good for a lot of players, especially
Yeah.
of course Addie and Amelia. So like it's gonna be a really good addition to the game, and just to get everything out there and just kind of be like, hey, here we go. So
yeah, I mean, I'll tell the viewers what we're doing, and the players know this too. But like before the game actually starts, it won't be filmed or anything. But like I'm letting people hang out for like an hour before the game starts, like chill out, eat some food, like have a drink, and just like socialize a little bit, social hours. So that can make or break a lot of people's games too, that maybe aren't as connected as well with each other. So people, that'll be good to kind of maybe calm the nerves of some people too before the game actually starts. So that's a good point, Alex.
Yeah.
Which nerves? Whose nerves?
Never know.
People are going to be nervous. I know. Everyone's it's going to happen. I mean, they're going to feel the pressure. It's a big season.
Yeah, well, no one claimed what the joke I was making, but okay.
This guy that I picked with my second pick in here in the second round doesn't seem like he ever feels the pressure. Seems pretty confident. Let's see if that continues on in this season. Another player like Maddie who got to the final three and lost, got third as well. I did take Vincent with my second pick at the 202. I think Vincent, I'm a little worried that they might take him out early. It's really tough with Vincent. With the remaining people left, like the number one person on my board at this point in the draft would have been Dan. But again, this season thing kind of changed things for me a little bit on perception of people. And I know he did pretty damn well as well. And that kind of changed the picture on him. I'm assuming everybody's pre-gaming. Vincent, I mean, I think I underestimated him until I saw the film back of like what he all actually did and everything. So he's got a lot of. I just hope, like I told him and Nolan at the reunion, like they both lost Final Tribal Council, and there's a lot of critiquing why they didn't get maybe votes from people, and they are just kind of blowing it off like, well, I don't care, like whatever. It's like I really hope like Vincent here takes away some of that and applies it to his game and tries to be a little more of a showman if he can. I think he's still going to have a really good chance to make it far. I think he's got to try to be a driving force a little bit more. And it's going to be tough with so many big personalities. And it's not like he wasn't before, but he wasn't perceived as he was to people. So there's something that's got to change a little bit. I do think with the remaining people left in this remaining cast here in this draft, I do think he has the best chance to win, based on what I'm hearing, and maybe people's lack of connection with people and people's over pre-gaming with some other people. So Vincent, it's tough. I could see him getting out early too, but it's like my two picks, him and Ben are my two picks. I could see things going wrong for them pretty quickly personally, or I could see deep runs for them if they can really like find an alliance quick.
Yeah, for Vince, I'm really excited to see Vince come back in the game. Do I think he's going to make the end? Hell no, because I think people are going to realize how good of a social player he is and realize that he's a lot smarter than people gave him credit for the first time around. However, I do definitely think that Vince is going to make these really good social bonds. I think he's going to have a lot easier of a time making these social bonds because there's no one on this cast that Vince really screwed over. There's one person on the cast that was on his starting tribe, and that's really it. I think like everyone else, like there's only like one or two people he really played the game with on this cast. Everyone else from his original cast was, you know what I mean? Like most people didn't really have any bad blood with them. Unlike someone like a Maddie we were talking about, who I would honestly argue like Maddie and Vince played somewhat similar games and got similar placements for it, similar outcomes. However, unlike Maddie, who definitely burned a couple people here and there, Vince didn't really burn anyone, at least not that I can recall, that like to the severity where it kind of followed him outside the game or outside of before Final Tribal, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But like I do think Vince has a lot of potential, but I don't know if I can really see him cracking the endgame territory. Like for me, I would say like I see endgame territory as like final 6 to the end. I don't know if I can see Vince getting to that point because I think he's going to be a real sneak to get to that. He's got to be a real sneak of a pick to get to that point. And I want to say Vince could do that again. But I don't know. I think he's going to have a lot of blood to have to do, kind of like what you guys were saying. Like, he has to control the narrative, and he has to also maybe get a little bit more blood in his hands. And I don't know how willing he's going to be to do that if he's worried about it, burning too many people. So I could be wrong, but I'm excited to see Vince back. It'll be very entertaining, confessional wise. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think, okay, so I kind of think of post-merge, I think of Survivor as like there are two types of players. You have a player who has multiple paths to the end, but only one path to winning, and then someone who has like one path to the end, but multiple paths to winning. And so you take like season 8, for example. I think once I won my first immunity challenge, I essentially had one path to the end. But if I was sitting with almost anyone, I probably would have had a good shot at winning. Vincent was very much the opposite in our game, where he had tons of paths to the end because he was sort of insulated with some bigger threats, but he really only had like one path that did not happen in our universe to winning. I think that Vincent has switched to a player who has multiple ways to win, but only one path. And I'm really curious if he's going to be able to navigate that. And truth be told, I think he needs a Nolan. So as I've talked with Vince more in the game, or more about the game after, we've just like chatted about just like moves that we could have done, things like that. It's just really fun to do like a post sort of like game assessment. Vincent is incredibly smart. He like gets the game at a really, really deep level. Nolan was the one sort of like organizing the numbers though. And sometimes Vincent doesn't always get he gets it to a degree, but doesn't always get the numbers. And so I think that if Vincent is able to align himself with someone who is just like, okay, if Vincent can sort of be like, we need to probably get this person out, like and I have like good relationships with this person, then the other people can be like, okay, then we need to have these people vote here, these people vote here, etc. And so I'm really interested in Vincent, if Vincent can find that person on this cast. Truth be told, I think Vincent would work well with women, just based on his persona. I think he's told me that before. And so I think that Richie, you rolled your eyes. I didn't mean anything.
I didn't know. I wasn't trying to roll my eyes. I was just kind of like, because I didn't know where you were going with that at first. I didn't know where you were going at with that at first.
Vincent's.
I didn't know he told you that. Okay, that's fair.
For the single ladies, he is 6'1", by the way. So he, I think he actually works incredibly well with women. Okay, two main issues I could see. If Joey's on his starting tribe, I could see them go to war, and I could see people just being like, Joey is a little bit less threatening. And because I just don't think that Joey really vibes with the like Nolan Vincent persona post our game. Second thing, can I bring up particulars about the game that they played the other time? I'll try to keep it without promoting anything other than Survivor Wisconsin. You should apply January 1st. The application drops for any newbies. Vincent got voted out first in this game, which could have been great for his second chances game. But then he crashed out, and he yelled at a lot of people, some that are on this cast. He called he called someone who's not on this cast a misogynist, not for voting him out, for wanting to vote out the old lady. And so there is a sense that I'm like, oh, did he just tank his game? Because there's a chance that just like that crash out could be held by some people who played in this other game. So I really hope that doesn't carry over. But like Devin said, we have to like consider it as we considered this draft. I will say this though, I think Vincent was probably the biggest drop where I would have had him. I would have taken him right after Maddie. I am actually pretty high on Vincent. I think he's incredibly intelligent and sociable. But I could also see the early boot.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. We'll see if I saw he got out first, which I think he needed a little bit of humble pie. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it could really help him in this game. I'll be honest. If he learns from it and everyone gets competitive. I crashed out too and I got out, so like I get it.
Yeah.
I've also heard you made someone cry, Devin.
Yeah,
you were on the jury.
That was the very first season of Survivor Whitewater. It wasn't filmed, but I have sources and I heard. Yeah.
Which can I say something right now? I want to do like a little shout out. Like if you have not watched our past seasons, go watch them. So, what were we saying, Alex? Sorry.
I was sitting.
Alex,
here
what do you think about Vincent?
Talk about Vincent. I'll keep it short. I see him playing a very hard game early and then getting voted out early. That's all I have.
Huh.
You guys are not high in Vincent, are you?
I said I would have
think
picked
it
him
is.
fifth.
I think,
I'm joking with you.
yeah, he still is. I think. See, I think that's a good point by Jimmy that there's more girls on this season that could benefit him, and there's a ton of people like I think Richie might have brought up that didn't play with him in last season. So like, it's gonna be tough. I mean, again, like I love people doing other LRGs. It's great. You know, I definitely want to help promote other ones. It's just the timing of this 2 weeks beforehand. It's half the cast. It's really going to affect some things no matter what people say. And that crash out, like it might tank his game a little bit. But if people have an open mind and maybe apologize to certain people that he called out, I don't know who he called out. Hopefully people kind of just get a new light and he can work his social magic that he can do. So, all right, we'll move up past Vincent. We'll go to our third pick in the second round, which is from a dog who's out the kennel tonight, Richie. Richie, who did you take here with your second
I need
pick?
to look at something. Yeah, there's something important for this draft, you know? Like, what is it? Oh, that's a very interesting. Okay. I think
What?
with that, with that little info I just got, I'm like seeing in the future, because I'm like the Survivor psychic up in this bitch, right? And I'm seeing in the future, my crystal ball, I'm getting good vibes about my next pick, Annika. And I said it before after she got voted off in New Blood that I think she had a lot of potential. And I'm going to pick up my headset because
Everyone has potential in their eyes.
But I really, for me, it's part of my pick for Annika is I said it, so now I had to put my I had to put my money where my mouth is. But Annika, I do think does have a lot of potential, and she's one of the few people who really did not get to actually play. She and Joey, who I assume we'll eventually get to down the line, were first boots in their seasons. Addie, who I assume we'll also talk about later on, again, another very early boot. She was a second boot. Like those three people, I think are going to be going. Like I'd be surprised if any of those three are out before the merge, because of the fact that they didn't get to play the game. They may have a lot of connections and may have insulated themselves well enough within people they know to have a great shot at getting to the end. And Annika, I really think, has a lot of cutthroat abilities in her. I do think she has a lot of strategic potential she wasn't able to show because of how her tribe was being all kumbaya and how she didn't get a chance to really claw her way into the game and get some new blood on her hands. I really think Annika, again, I think she would have made a lot deeper of a run had she not been the first out. So does she win? I don't really know with that cast, but I think she at least makes a deeper run if she's not the first one out. So, and I definitely see a lot of potential for her this season. So, I said it before. I think Annika is a great player and has potential. Now it's time for her to go out and prove me right. So Survivor Psychic has spoken.
Yeah. I'll keep my short. She is one of the more the early boosts who I have the most gut feeling that she'll go far in this game for. Again, she has a lot of connections already with people who are playing, and she knows how the game works as well. She watches the real show, and she kind of knows when to jump ship and when to actually do a really good job of building connections and winning challenges. So I feel like she will do a really good job. I feel like she'll make the merge, and then it really just goes from there because we've not seen her do anything. So it will be fun to see how she plays the game.
Yeah, I think with an imbalanced cast, just in terms of threat levels, very often the lower threats, you see this kind of in Game Changers. The lower threats kind of take advantage of that and take out bigger threats and align themselves. I think we're pretty split though in this season, and so I think some of these people who come in not because they're not great people, but just because of how they performed in their first game, come in with lower threat levels. I do wonder. I think that their game is going to be really up to which of the big threats are on their team, and do those big threats align themselves with each other. And so you're if you have a Ben and a Will on the same team, and they align themselves together, that's going to be great. If they don't, it's going to be really easy opportunities for people like Annika to take advantage of that. With that being said, I think she is also the one that I feel the best about, who's coming in with the lower threat level and is able to go far. I think if people are going to catch the strays of lower threat levels getting taken out by big threats aligning, it would be maybe our season 5 women, maybe even like a Joey, I think could be a victim of that. But I think Annika, everyone seems to love, even though she crashed out when she got voted out. And so I think that she could actually go pretty far as well.
Can I also say this? I forgot to mention this because I did say I was going to mention this before and I completely forgot. Like, at this point, I did say Amelia is my winner pick. I genuinely believe the winner of this season is going to be a woman. I think the guys are very loud and boisterous in a way that could burn people. They could be seen as massive threats because of it. I think the women we have picked are definitely low-key under the radar enough to where a woman's gonna sneak by to the end and just steal the win. That's my prediction. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I think based on the first couple picks won in this, I think a lot of us are in agreement with you, Richie, on that.
Yeah. So I've said that. I think. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I think with Annika, I'll kind of close off with just saying, yeah, she didn't really get to play the game in our game. So, like, this is the perfect season for her to show that what you can do. I know her and Maris are good friends. So, like, I hope she can kind of, and I think Kira too, I kind of hope she can separate herself from Maris a bit and make her own game, her own thing. And, she didn't really get to play the game at all because just dealt a bad hand. So, hopefully she's dealt a better hand. And, it would be unfortunate if some of these early boots who were given a second chance get out early again. So hopefully they can flip the script a little bit, at least get some footing in the game. She wasn't my consideration for my pick between her. It was between her and Vincent. I thought had like the best chance to make a deep run. Now, I don't know if Annika can win personally, but I think she can make it really far. It kind of just depends when like push comes to shove, if she's like going to be leading a big vote or if she's going to be just kind of aligned in the power line. So she's got a ton of potential. Like, I know you say it a lot, Richie, but I do agree with you on this time for 100%. That's why I casted her. All right, we'll move on to the fourth pick here in the second round, getting down to the wire. Jimmy, who did you take here with the remaining couple options?
Yes, sir. So the person I took, I think that they would have been a way higher pick had they not just played in an LRG where not only did they make it pretty far, but they also screwed some people over who were in this cast, which I think is the bigger piece here. With that being said, I picked someone who I think is going to claw their way back in, who maybe has the chance to take some people to the litter box. That is my man, Dan the Cat Stoddy. How do you say his last name? Stoddy.
Stade?
Stade?
I don't know.
I think it's Stoddy. No, look at his Instagram. His Instagram is
really?
Stoddy as she goes. And so it's steady as she goes. Yeah. So I don't think it makes sense with
Stade. That makes a lot
Stade.
more sense now. Well, let's not dox Dan on screen, Jimmy.
Yeah. I did just dox him. Shout out Trinity.
Yeah, right.
No, this was really a getting in with Trinity good graces pick for when she's on All Stars. No, I'm just joking. But I actually think Dan is someone who can recover. I'm really interested. I think Dan has some perceptions of people on our tribe that have been expressed through Trinity, but I think that they have talked in our chats and things like that. But I think that they have talked, and I don't know if he's like necessarily in love with some of the what has been perceived as like pettiness that has come out of our season. And so I wonder if that is going to either fuel the way he plays or bite him in the butt with how he tries to play in this season. With that being said, I would have picked him like literally 101, 102 before this game, because I think that he is someone who is like at that perfect threat level radar. But I think he's just raised that recently. And so I'm really curious. He did not get to play a ton. I think also the way he navigates the Jamil situation is going to be really, really curious. And so I think that there aren't a lot of people who are coming in here with like necessarily like ops, but I think Dan actually has more ops, or is the op to people more than we anticipate. And I think how he navigates that is going to really determine how he does.
Yep.
Yeah, Dan, the little kitty cat, Kitty's got claws. I'm excited to see how those claws come out because I think it's going to go, either A, the claw starts scratching people left and right and he claws his way to the end, or B, he finds out he got declawed somehow and then he's realizing, oh shit, I can't do shit. I don't know. I really am excited to see how Dan's going to go. If he's going to play it very under the radar or if he's going to go like balls to the wall. I'm excited for Dan. I am really excited. I definitely have high hopes for Dan too. I don't know. I am excited for it. I think he could definitely relate socially to people in a way that other people really can't. Where some people, they kind of play up the social angle to their game. I think for other people, for people like Dan, it kind of just comes naturally to him where you can just have I don't want to say you can have a conversation the way you can't with some of the other guys, but with Dan, there are times where I've talked to him and the vibe of the conversation sometimes may feel a little different, where it's he can vibe out with people on a whole different level than I think some of the other people can. I think we even kind of saw this with how he played last season. So I definitely think Dan does have potential, but again, it's all going to depend on if anything recently is going to come back to bite him in the ass, or if it could or couldn't. I don't know. I feel like it may not. I feel like he's the type of player where he can play off of that and get people to trust him fast again. I could be wrong. Maybe people will try targeting him, but I think he might be able to outplay it, but who really knows? I got Schrodinger's Survivor player. That's probably what we should call this Loki at this point.
Yeah.
Trying to or a farm for the episode title for the draft.
Yes,
is
right.
wild.
Or Roots, because we kept saying Roots.
So
Loki.
for Dan, I feel like he is the whole package in Survivor. He's really good at playing the social game. He knows when to flip and change votes, and he's decent at competitions. Again, we've not seen a lot from him in competition wise on our Wisconsin one, but knowing from outside stuff, he's pretty good. So I'll bring that into second chance. Again, he knows a lot of people on the cast, and he knows a lot of how people play the game. If he's able to kind of coast past the pre-merge and make it to the post-merge, he has a really good shot of winning because people want to work with him, and they don't really see him as a big threat technically, kind of, where there's more big threats in this season. I feel like so he could coast the end, but again, I can also see him being an early boot as well. So it really just depends. But
yeah,
Dan as well. Don't worry. No. Go ahead.
I do think he's someone who is really late or really early. I don't.
Yep.
If he gets himself in, I think he's good. But yeah, I'll let you.
Yeah. My thoughts on Dan is. Yeah, I think, like you said, I think him in the Survivor screwing a lot of people over versus, whoever it is he screwed over in that is could really bite him in the butt early on if people are going to hold a grudge over that. I think it honestly comes down to that. If people are open to working with him, he's going to potentially win the game. I probably would have taken him. He probably would have been gone, but first round, I would have taken him instead of Ben if he was there 100% if that didn't happen. I think Nolan when you guys broke down the cast, that was his winner pick. So unfortunately, things have changed a bit. It's really going to be tough. I don't know how people are going to go into it that got screwed over by him. I really don't know. I'm going to assume, knowing these people pretty well now, I think they are going to be bitter about it. But, I don't know. Maybe they won't be. I think it legitimately, no matter how well Dan plays stuff off, because I know we all know he can, it's going to come down to how these people are going to – if these people are going to give him grace or not in the beginning that he might have screwed over in the previous game.
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
Yep.
All right, we'll move on to the next pick. We're getting down to our last three picks here. So Stibe had the next pick, and he obviously isn't here, so I'll read what he said. So this person he picked, he did pick someone that we can all just say it because this isn't getting aired till after it's filmed. We know is pre-gaming the hardest that I'm aware of. Way too hard. I appreciate him helping set up the Discord and everything. And he was, a guy I wanted to get in second chance from watching back the tape of Colin vs. Chaos. But Stibe did take Jamil. Stive said it right here, bro. Like, come on, guys. We know he has a huge target on his back. Let's keep it real. But he was an early favorite of Stives, and Stives still believes he can find better luck this season if he can chill out and dial it back a bit. I mean, I think if he wasn't pre-gaming so hard, I think Jamil could have been in a really good spot. I think he's really likable. I think he's got a huge knack for the game. There's people in this cast that he played deep in the game with that I think still have like a good feeling towards him. But from what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing, I think people are really turned off by how much he's pre-gaming. So he might get out really early, unfortunately. And unless maybe he's on the different side of a tribe winning this time, maybe he gets better fortune.
Yeah. I will definitely kind of say for Jamil to think this kind of play devil's advocate here. I do think Jamil, again, if he is able to dial it back in, he definitely could possibly at least survive a couple rounds. And in certain returning seasons like this, and all returning seasons, that's all you need. It's just a couple rounds to get your claws in, get your footing in the game. We kind of saw that with multiple people in past seasons we've had, where once they get their foot in the game, they get their claws in the wall, they're not going anywhere for quite a while. Will Jamil be able to do that? I really want to say yes, but I really don't think so. I think Jamil has such a massive target by being a very loud in person. And again, Jamil, like Ben, I think Jamil is going to be one of the first few people out of the game. Unless he's able to get very lucky and either win out or get in really good with people. And for all we know, there could be a lot of people who want to work with Jamil that we just don't know about. I think Jamil, I like to believe he has just as much of a chance as everyone else. But I think for people like Jamil and Ben, it's going to be 10 times harder for them because they are the louder personalities. And being personal experience with that, it's very hard to play the game as a very loud personality because you are going to be targeted no matter what you do, good or bad. They will come at your ass and try to shoot your head off, basically. Like, yeah. I'll pass on to Alex and Jimmy, see what you guys want to say about it.
Jimmy, do you want to go?
Yeah, so it's interesting because when I was on the opposite tribe of Jamil, I kept being like, how is this guy sticking around? And it's not because I had a negative perception of him, but I think I had like a really positive perception of like Dan and Nick just being on the other tribe, where I was like, how did this guy survive? And then you watch back and you're like, well, this guy's a mastermind. Like if we had a DVD cover for Survivor 8, Calm versus Chaos, like even as an early merge boot, I think Jamil would have made it just because he was running early tribe stuff. And so I think the book was already out on Jamil. I think that the pre-gaming stuff is not helping him, but I don't know if there was much he could do coming in already. Like I think he already had a huge threat. I really hope he can navigate it. I think Jamil is incredible to watch. He's incredibly intelligent with regards to strategy. I think, again, he's someone coming in with a lot of ops. And so I think that there are a lot of people who do not want to play the game with Jamil. And I think that he's going to be like a one path to the end and potentially one path to win player. And I think that's because he has a perception of being schemy, of screwing people over like Dan. And I think it's going to be really, really interesting how he handles that.
Yeah, I agree. First off, can we get a claw count on Richie for how much times he's had claw today? Because it's been more than
that
10.
was 7.
But yeah, no, Jamil is a really good player. Like he knows the game front and back, and he knows how to play the game. It's just when he gets into the game, how is all this background stuff going to affect him in the game is the biggest question we have going into this game. But I feel like, we've seen it in Calm versus Chaos where he was able to navigate his tribe and kind of be kind of the ringleader. But those were more receptive players. But now we're playing a game where people are all really heavy hitters. So is he able to do that or not? That's the biggest question. And I hope he goes far because he's a really good player. But I just can't really see him getting past the pre-merge.
Richie, what do you have on your desktop? We can see everything on your computer. It's kind of wild stuff, man. I think. Do you guys think that Jamil has this like?
It's on your laptop.
It's this stream. Do we think that Jamil has like a Tony arc in him without the win, of course? But I feel like he had like a big game in the
It's
first
just
game where he got to
changers,
play a
or
lot.
not? Yeah, game
Yeah.
changers.
Yeah, and this is his game changers.
Maybe.
I like worry.
I
I think he had. Yeah.
Well, that means
Go
he has
ahead.
to come back dominantly. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I like when I was, editing things back, like from my perspective and just like posting and not seeing everything, like I didn't know Jamil was doing anything. You know what I mean? And then I'm editing it back because like I was starting to, in my mind, like who do I want on second chance? Like who maybe deserves it, but I'm like I gotta watch like the tape back to see like stuff I didn't know, and like immediately I'm like, okay, this guy was running the whole. Honestly, he was running the whole tribe, and they kept losing, so he got a lot of screen time, and that is going to probably hurt him. But he is a really good player. Yeah, I think if he can, it's really going to come down to how he perceives stuff early on, and if he can build relationships with people that he has never met in person. I think that's going to be key, like how those kind of people read him. But I'm really excited to see what he can do, and we know, like, even if he is targeted early, which he probably will be, like, he's not going to go down without a fight, and we'll see what happens with that. Anything else you guys want to say on Jamil?
No, I think I'm good with Jamil for now.
All right. So now we're down to our last two picks. We got Alex and then Nolan. So Alex, you only had two options here. So who did you go with here?
So yeah, it was between, of course, Addie and Joey, and I've got to go with my Captain's Curse buddy Addie. Got to represent that season. But yeah, Addie is a player where, of course, her first time around, she was again very vocal and just very like out there. If she can reel it back in and kind of be like this like person who can just kind of coast and like kind of ride with the numbers until she has to make like a big move. I could see her making like final three and just kind of pitching her case. It's just really the what if is like, are people gonna want to play with the Captain's Curse duo? That is like the hardest thing to like think about, because like I can see a lot of people, mainly of course like the women, want to play with them because again they're a fun bunch, and like they're again just very talkable, and like they are pretty cool out of the game. So yeah, I feel like Addie has a better shot to win than Joey. That's kind of why I picked her.
You go, Devin.
Sure. All right. I think Addie, and I hope there's more to her game, and I'm probably underestimating her a bit here, but I think, like Alex said, it comes down to if people are willing to work with the Captain Curse ladies. If not, she's probably going to be early boot again. If not, like she's going to get taken in an alliance and probably make a deep run, and it's going to be up to her if she wants to make a move or not. I think too, Addie and Amelia going hand in hand, like it's gonna come down a lot to like in that soul shower for the game goes, how quickly they're gonna have to get out of their comfort zone maybe a little bit and be really social in that soul shower because they have a lot to catch up with. I don't know if they will, but I think between Addie and Joey, I do think Addie has more potential to make it deeper in the game. But I think her and Joey, they both could go out really early again, which is unfortunate. Just because socially maybe they're not there compared to everybody, and relationship wise they're not there with everybody. But I think she could be a dark horse, like Alex said when we were initially picking. Jimmy?
I agree with Devin when you talked earlier about like this almost being like a huge tier of players from like literally like almost 105 to the end. Like I think even when I was taking Dan, I was like, I could literally take any of these people, and I'll kind of even talk about that with Joey. But I'll just say it, like if I were there, Addie would be the like 101 of who I would want to work with. I think she has a fun, cool vibe, but she also like doesn't know the game super well, doesn't have relationships, and I think if you are able to like take that sort of person under your wing, I'll just say it, like I think her win equity is fairly low. But I think her like ability to be like a really good alliance member is really high. Problem is I don't know if there's like anyone who feels the same way as me. I honestly think she could be like not the numbers person like Nolan was. I think she could be like the perfect ride or die for Vincent, where Vincent brings her in, and then maybe like someone who even like a Dan, like Dan, Vincent, Addie, I think would be a sick trio because they could. I think if she like played with them, it would be really good for her. I think they like utilizing her as a number would be really good for them. And so I hope Addie makes it far. I want to get to know her. I want to see who she is. But yeah, I think Richie maybe has more on this, but she just seems like a really chill, cool person until you vote her out.
What the?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Funny. I wasn't expecting that.
Honestly, for Addie, if there's anyone who would get like a preseason award of most likely to pull off a Wentworth, I would assume it'd be Addie. And I think Addie definitely has a lot of potential. I think we've even said that before. A lot of us have in certain ways, like way before second chances. We've even announced that we definitely thought Addie was someone who just didn't get to play the game. I don't know how she's going to do. Again, kind of like with what everyone was saying, I do agree with the same thing. Like I said, but we also said with Amelia, it's going to depend on if they really want to play with Amelia and Addie. And I hope they do, because I think Addie will definitely be a valuable person early on and a valuable asset. She could definitely be the puzzle piece that they need. I mean, they're going to be, I assume, my assumption, 2 drops to 7. I assume there's a chance that there could be a lines of 3 and a lines of 3 possibly. Addie could be that little puzzle piece to make the 4. You never know. So I don't know if they're going to be, I don't think anyone would be stupid enough to close her off completely unless she does something really bad early on. But I think Addie definitely has a lot of potential. And if anyone's going to pull like a Wentworth and just make themselves from a small name / no one to a massive name in our Survivor Series, I think Addie is one of the most likely, alongside people like Annika and Amelia and some other people we talked about before. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say about Addie.
Yeah, I do want to add that, like, again, with this 2-day season, there's be a lot more time to talk with. And with, Addie, like, she can really build some good bonds with people and not just be kind of like rushing to, like,
right.
feel like find like a vote to, like vote somebody with. So like, it's gonna be really interesting seeing a lot of this talking, because like they have a lot more time to talk before tribals.
Right. And if
Go ahead, Richie.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say, like, because again, like when I did Legends, that was also a 2-day season, and conversations and the social game, having time to talk, like, that hits a lot harder in a 2-day game. Because when you get to that point, it's a lot more time to talk. A lot of people may be tired by the second day of the game and may start to get over people. Like, you really start to kind of see who's, like, really vibing with people, who has the actual mindset of, even if I don't like this person, I need to placate them to keep good social standing with them. And you can also tell who are the people who are just going to be like, fuck these people, I don't care, I'm going to say what I'm going to say by day 2. And
yeah,
I mean, I think Addie's going to be the person who's going to be smart enough to keep her mouth shut. So, I mean, having 2-day games, more time to talk socially, that's a massive thing. And I'm really glad you did bring that up, Alex, because that's something that I did not touch on before. So that's really good you brought that up.
Richie, were you on Legends?
Jimmy, I swear to God.
I will also say this is a very off topic, but Richie, when you said Wentworth the first time, I thought you said like wet birth. And I was like, what are you talking about?
What's on Jimmy, what's on your laptop right now? What's on your laptop?
Don't turn this on me. Anyways, Devin, throwing it back to you.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to people, how, if they're willing to use her or not. I mean, the thing is, like, what easily could happen is people are just from 7 or 8 just be like, yeah, easy vote off, like, we're not friends with her. But if people are thinking game wise, like, that's just like a free freaking number right there. Like, if people want to win the game, I think you gotta take advantage of that. I do worry too, like, in general, I feel like people might try to play it safe early on, because they're like, oh, I just want to make it to the second day. And it's like, I mean, spoiler for them, I mean, well, they're not going to see it before, so never mind. But like, it's not going to be like 2 rounds the first night. It's going to be 3 or 4 rounds. So like, the game's going to be going on. So like, you can like be passive early on, but like your tribe might lose 3 or 4 times in a row there. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to have to play pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
hopefully
think
people
that's
bring
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you got to
amazing.
bring it to the game. You got to bring your all. Gotta fight hard,
No, yeah, you gotta. So last pick of the draft. There's only one option left, unfortunately. Nolan's best freaking friend from the reunion,
What happened?
Joey, was the de facto last pick. Nolan's paragraph long about Joey was no comment. Good luck to all. So we'll talk. We'll dive more into Joey than he wanted to. Obviously, if you saw the reunion, Joey was not loving how Nolan was coming off in the reunion. Which honestly, love Nolan, but it was fair. But I was not picturing Joey doing that, which was hilarious. I think again, like Annika having 2 first boots in this season, like Joey, is going to be really interesting to have on. I think that's most poster childs for like getting a second chance. You got voted off first. I'm still just really nervous that socially he's just might not be there compared to everybody else, like friend wise, connection wise. So like maybe he tries to connect with like an Addie or Amelia that have nobody else, or like an Annika who she knows some people, but maybe she doesn't know a lot of the other ones because she didn't get to play with them. So like Joey's gonna have to really get out of his comfort zone early on and be really more social than he was last time. And it might not be enough, but I really, really am rooting for the guy because I know he's a huge fan of the game. I know he was really excited that we gave him the opportunity, so I really hope he can do something with it.
Yeah, I definitely talked to Joey a lot, and first thing I will say for you, Joey, for the reunion, go get your bag, girl. Good job. Good moment. Good job. Go get your bag. No, jokes aside, I really am happy for Joey because Joey, I know, again, he's like a big fan of the game. He wants to be there so badly. And like I said, I think that Joey is probably going to go at least for sure further than first round. I think they're not going to see him as even if he does what he did last time around, I don't think he's going to be that big of a threat or is seen as a big threat or someone to take out early on just because of the fact that he got out first last time around. That's such a big shield to use early on to such a way that like people will just overlook you completely. And I do think a lot of people are sleeping on Joey. Like I wanted to pick Joey as my second pick, but my gut instincts were just screaming off for Annika to pick Annika that could help me more in the realm of things. But Joey is someone I also would not sleep on either. Joey is probably like my 3rd or 4th pick, to be honest. Like Joey, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to find his way to the end and just sneak on by and say, like, yeah, I was in all of your ears the entire game. Who really knows?
You think
Joey,
he can win?
I think it definitely depends on how he plays his cards. And that's the same thing I would say for really anyone there. Like, I think it always depends on how you play your cards and what you do or say in the game. I think the biggest tips that, basically I would give to anyone and everyone is always be talking to people. And Joey, last time, to be his credit, did keep talking to people. I think it just got unfortunate that it came down to Joey versus Richard. So, I do not sleep on Joey at all. So that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, Jimmy, I would like maybe him to touch on that too with, being on that drive that voted Joey off first. Kind of, what do you think maybe he needs to change to not be the first one out and like make a deeper run? I think you might be muted.
You're muted.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you, brother.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
All good.
I actually connected with Joey first on our tribe. So he and I were both throwing something in the challenge, and he just leans over to me and he goes, "I would love to work with you." And I could tell he meant it. Joey, I don't think has a very strong capacity to lie. And so I actually think he's a great Alliance member, and I wish I had seen that a little bit earlier. And it was just kind of unfortunate it came down to him and Richard. Because I was like, I don't know, Richard's really funny. And I was like, it'd be kind of funny to keep him around a little bit. So I think like Joey's biggest issue is that he can't lie, which is also his greatest strength. And so when we were sort of talking early, I actually think like once he sensed that it was him, he didn't sort of have the organizational capacity to flip a vote. And I think he just should have said a name way earlier. Like, he was beating around the bush too much. And I recognize in a game, like, especially with all newbies, you don't want to say a name early. None of us wanted to, but he was like, it was like painful that he wouldn't say a name at all. Where I was at least like throwing out a couple of names. And so I think especially in this game, like, people aren't going to care as much. I think you sort of see it in like the aforementioned legends that Richie was on, that you can sort of see in that game. Like, people just like start saying names immediately, you know? And so I think in a returnee season, he just can't like be passive. I actually think he needs to be a bit more aggressive. And speaking of that, I do want to say,
You muted again.
Yeah, again,
every
brother.
time I exit this. Okay. It's so here, let me just search this real quick. I just want to say this. Hey, Nolan, can you just shut up and let Kayla speak? This is Kayla's moment, and you're really ruining it. Can you just let Kayla speak and not interrupt, please? That's all I want to say about Joey. No, I actually was going to pick. Yeah, I was going to pick him at my spot, but I thought Dan was falling a little too far, and I thought it would be hilarious if we made Nolan pick Joey and cheer for Joey. So that was really my motivation there.
How funny would it be if Joey somehow wins and like Nolan just being there? Like, I knew it all along. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Joey Stan.
I was lying.
Yeah. So for like the whole draft thing, I think I put it in our little chat. Like, I was gonna pick Jamil if I didn't pick Jamil, and then I would have. Yeah. No.
You would have picked Joey.
I would have picked Joey if Stipe didn't pick Jamil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because I was gonna.
like, you like Addy more than Joey, but then you like Joey more than Jamel.
Yeah. Because I was gonna. Because if Stipe picked Addy, I was gonna pick Joey and then give Jamil to. Nolan.
Yeah, because you thought Stipe was going to pick Addy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we both play with her, which would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Joey, again, a great guy, but like, I don't see him getting further than probably like 9th place. I see him kind of playing hard now, just at the start because of how his first game went, which is kind of how I played as well. My second time playing, I played a bit too hard. Just knowing that I was also a pre-merge boot, so. But yeah, I don't see him getting far, but I do see him getting past the first round. So that's all I have.
I will also say, I forgot to mention this. His anxiety is pretty palpable when you talk to him early in a game, and I think that's. I know Richie has at least, and this is not me crapping on you, Richie. You've at least talked about like when you come in with anxiety, it like really screws you over, right? And I think he cares about the game deeply.
Yeah, I'm glad you're
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm glad you touched on that because I was eventually going to talk about that too. But no, I've been in that mindset, and yeah, like when you get in the game, like if you have like a massive amount of anxiety, like you get in your own head very fast. So it's like it's very hard. I don't even think like outside a game I've gotten a better hold of my anxiety though. Probably the last like 6 months or so, and like it hits you hard. Like you will like overthink everything. Like no matter, even if you try to stop overthinking it, like it will just naturally pop up, and it's like. It's difficult, and even playing a game, it almost like enforces that. It almost like acts as a catalyst almost for it to happen. So like, I mean, being in Joey's spot, like, and I've even vouched this for Sam as well. Like in the game, I never really fault someone for having anxiety because you really don't know who's saying what behind your back. You don't know what people are actually saying behind your back or what's going on until it's all said and done and airing out. Like when you're in that moment, you don't know what's going on. So I never fault anyone for having anxiety. I think for Joey, it's definitely just he needs to take a breath, look around, talk to himself like what is real and what is an anxious thought. And who knows, maybe he was doing that and I just didn't see it because for all we know, he probably was doing that. But I wouldn't sleep on Joey at all, anxiety or otherwise. I would not sleep on Joey as a pick at all for this. So, yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Joey, I I had some anxiety issues the last couple of years too personally, and I like purposely didn't. Like I always wanted to play in Art Survivor again, and I waited until I was like Richie, so the last 6 months. Like mine was like the last year where I felt like it was kind of gone almost. So like, and even though I got out early when I played again, like recently, like I was having a blast. Like I didn't, that's why I probably hurt so much when I got out so quick, because like I was like not thinking, like overthinking things. I wasn't. Maybe I was underthinking things almost. But I just hope Joey can just like try to sit there and just enjoy like being able to play again, and like just like take it all in. And like I know like if this tribe does lose right away and he makes it past that first vote, like that's gonna be like the biggest relief off his shoulders, and maybe that's what will open up his game and everything. I'll do a little small reveal here. Got some of the bus made. We got Tribe Koa in purple here.
Oh my!
Nice.
That is
purple.
beautiful.
And I know these people are going to complain because they can't just be grateful for what I'm doing. But like Tribe Lico here in the turquoise teal color, I had to do it a little more fancy because I couldn't find the color in bulk. So there's a little more upscale, but
Nice.
but the purple one's still cool, I think. But
Yeah.
these colors are freaking awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a hell of a season, and I really hope everyone has an open mind going into it. And yeah, it's going to be key, that soul shower, and just how much are people going to give other people's chances that they're maybe not friends with. I really hope it's just game wise. So I think we can give a couple of closing thoughts. I mean, I think we should all give our winner pick officially here now that we know who's all in this. I mean, we kind of mentioned it all, but like run through your winner picks, guys, if you have them. Maybe why.
You guys go first.
I'll go first because mine's pretty quickly. I picked Amaris as my second pick. I'm standing by my second pick. Amaris, again, like a great player, great person, really good at playing the game. And I just don't see a shot where she doesn't make it, at least to the merge.
I think some bold predictions here. I think 6 of our 7 women make the merge. I think we have another all-women final 3. We got Maddie. We got some redemption here. We got Annika. We got Addie. And I think Annika gets 2 votes. Maddie gets the rest.
Going with Maddie. I think I am going to go with Kira. I think she's a 101 for a reason. Yeah, I think it's gonna be like, are people gonna really like realize how big of a threat she is early on and target that, or are they not gonna notice that like again? And she's gonna really make a deep run. She's good at finding idols too, and hopefully she can save herself with it this time. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Kira. I do think, like Richie said, I think we're all pretty confident woman's gonna win this. I'm glad it's even 7-7, so like it's gonna be entertaining as hell to watch and make maybe some connections easier for some of them too, so it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. My winner pick, I'm laying down the hammer again. I'm pretty confident it's gonna be Amelia. If Amelia doesn't win, I think she's at least gonna go pretty deep. But I like to lock in my winner pick as Amelia. So I don't have the worst track record, actually. Like, most of my winner picks usually make it far. Most of my winner picks usually make it far. They're either out super fast or they make it to the end. Like, there was a Survivor thing
I really don't think Annika's going to get out right away, so maybe you'll be in luck.
Maybe I will be, yeah. No, like, honestly, no, when I hosted the Survivor game I did in college, I'm not going to go into depth with it, but there was one season where I had 2 winner picks, and they both made a final 3. And then the next season, it happened again, where there was a final 2. Those were my winner picks. Like, my winner pick the next season got, like, second. Like, it was pretty good. So, like, I don't have the worst track record. It's just...
Yeah, because
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because you rate it for your... you rate it for your winner picks. That's why.
Rate it for my winner pick.
That's why, man. Yeah.
Alex, I'm going to mute you.
So by the time everyone sees this, like, the season's going to be filmed and ready to go, and hopefully episodes will be coming quickly after this. We'll have the Meet the Cast probably before this comes out on the YouTube channel, but it's going to be exciting. I believe Jimmy will be joining the Early Birds pods early on here in Second Chance for an episode
Please.
recap. So definitely watch those. And it's going to be a hell of a time. We're ready to bring it. These people better bring it and have an open mind, and it's just going to be a great time. Any closing remarks from you guys you want to say?
I think a woman's gonna win it. I think I've said it. I said it first. We all confirmed it, but I said it
She's so
first.
bold.
Hopefully,
I said 6 of 7 women would make the merge. Come on.
yeah,
now.
I actually do think that's possible.
there
To
you
be
go.
honest, yeah.
Yeah.
The question
No, I
is,
appreciate you guys. I was going to say, I appreciate how much you guys do for the LRG community, for the Survivor Wisconsin community. I think it's been a really fun community to get to know, to make some new friends. That's why I'm retired, by the way, is because I just want to know who's in. Have I not mentioned that? Yeah, I'm retired from Survivor Wisconsin. So that's why I'm just helping out.
For now.
And I would love to chat about this season early on, because I think like we get one episode and I just feel like I'm going to be able to run with what's about to happen. So
Nice.
No, and it'll be exciting because you're not going to know. Hopefully, no one spoils for you what
Right.
ends up happening.
yeah, I
It'll be
swear.
awesome.
Yeah. Nope, blocking their numbers.
Cool.
All right, Alex, any last words?
No, I just hyped for, next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Subscribe here on YouTube. Follow our Instagram, idle.identifiers, to get like the episode schedule and everything by this time. Like and subscribe. If you're new to this and you want to play in the future, we announced we're doing season 11, May 30th, 2026, and then season 12, either August, I believe 12th or 26th. So just be on the lookout. Maybe those dates are wrong, but it's on our Instagram. So apply when those applications come out on January 1st and watch this season because it's going to be a fun time. We know that. So, all right. Thank you, everybody.
See ya.
thanks for watching, guys.